When you're filming documentaries, you don't get second chances. You need lenses that can keep up no matter what happens. I've been in situations where moments unfold so fast that changing lenses isn't an option. And that's where these two lenses made by Sigma, the 28-45 1.8 and the 28-105 2.8, have literally saved my shoot. What's going on, world? I'm Eric D. Seals, and today we're breaking down why I love the Sigma 28-45 f1.8 and the 28-105 2.8, and why they've become my go-to lenses for documentary run and gun filmmaking. The 28-45 f1.8 is a prime lens look without the hassle. This is the world's first full-frame zoom with a constant f1.8 aperture, and it feels like cheating. One thing that's so great about this lens is it gives you the prime look and the sharpness, because we know all Sigma lenses are super sharp, but also gives you a little bit of range. We know in documentaries we can't always control our light, so being able to go down to that 1.8 makes it really nice, especially when you pair it with a camera like the FX6 or the FX3. You're really in a situation where you can film anywhere and you'll be good to go. The other thing that I really like to do with it is I use it for a lot of interviews now. Like most of my interviews, while I'll film on Sigma glass, I have some SLR Magic. Sometimes I'll rent and put other lenses on there. But for my day-to-day projects, I'll use that 28-45 because I'm always somewhere between a 35 and 50 when it comes to setting up an interview. Like for my A cam, that's the distance as far as millimeters that I'm at. And so it gives me a nice range. Sometimes I can go a little bit wider than 35 if I need to. And if I need to go to a 50, I'll just move the camera up just a little bit. But it really gives me that sweet spot, because sometimes I want to be at a 42 or at a 38. So one thing that I do for both of these cameras is I utilize the Snyder Hollywood Black Magic filter. It takes off the sharpness of that lens just a little bit, because if you know Sigma lenses, especially the camera lenses, they're super sharp, which when it comes to filmmaking and making things look cinematic, that's sometimes not the best thing in the world. It can look too digital. This just takes a little bit of edge off of that sharpness. I use that for both lenses and it usually helps out a lot. So one of the things that I really love about the 28-105 is it gives me the range that I need in 95% of my situations when I'm doing a Verité scene. I'm able to get that wide shot when I need to. I'm able to get that tight shot when I need to. And I'm able to stay at a constant 2.8 throughout the whole entire scene without worrying about shots not matching with a different exposure. This to me is the perfect lens for a one-person crew and in unpredictable scenes. So whenever I set up for a shoot, I'm thinking about the equipment I'm going through, because I have more equipment than I'm ever going to bring. And I'm always thinking, what tools do I need to tell this story the correct way? And so lately, these two lenses have always been going in my case, because I know that I'm gonna need a lens like a 28-105 that allows me to go in any situation. I mean, I've done it before, it's not my first choice, but I'll do an interview with the 28-105 without thinking twice. These have been able to jump in there more than something like my 24-70, which was my go-to lens before that. The thing that is important to me about using both of these lenses is it allows me to focus on the story instead of focusing on the gear. Both lenses are built for travel and long days of filming. They're not super heavy. They've been in harsh environments, and they've been able to do a really good job in any situation, hot or cold, sandy, not sandy, but you know, they've been doing good in any situation that I've thrown them in. They don't have a lot of breathing. Their autofocus is magnificent. One of the things that a lot of people worry about when using Sony E-mount lenses that are not native Sony lenses like the G Master is how fast is their autofocus. And I can say I've used other lenses where it doesn't really do a good job, but these Sigma lenses do a really good job with the autofocus. When it's my everyday filmmaking and they're not looking for a particular character of a lens, I'm using these lenses on a regular basis. There's no wasted moments when I'm using these lenses. I can move from a wide establishing to a tight emotional shot instantly and not even think twice, and I'm not interrupting the scene. If you're in a narrative or a commercial, you can switch lenses with no problems, but something about having these lenses where I can change the perception of the frame just by twisting the barrel, it really makes a big difference. Documentary work is about speed and emotion, and the thing that I love about both of these lenses is they give me both, and that's a rare combination. So if you're building your kit and you don't want to get these lenses, the Sigmas, here are some other options that play in the same space that'll do a great job. So you have the Sony 24-105mm f4 G Master lens. You have the Tamron 35 to 150, which is a f2 to 2.8, so it's a variable range. It has an incredible range though for live applications like events and unpredictable work, so it can do a great job. I mentioned the Sigma 24 to 70, which is a lens that I started when I started to use that when I bought my FX9, and it's a beautiful lens. It's got a great mid-range, it's got great color, and it's a great everyday lens. These are both of the lenses side by side. Starting with the 28 to 45, the barrel doesn't move when I'm zooming in and out. The 28 to 105, unfortunately, with the telescopes, yeah, I don't like that as much. One, it changes the weight of the rig, and I just don't like things moving. But it also has, and this is pretty standard in most, recent lenses that are photo lenses that they know video people use, is it has the option to declick your aperture when you're doing a doc. To be able to get in between the points of your aperture is really nice to have that. And then you have it where it is clicked, so you can feel. Each one of these lenses have a custom function button. I don't utilize that as much as I probably should. That's probably the next level of what I need to do. I keep my aperture in the A mode so I can control it from the camera. This is, it's a good weight. It's not super heavy. I'll use this all day, and it's a great option. So I like using this. The 2.8 is more than enough for me. I don't need to be in a Verité scene and go below that. And so that's very helpful to have two lenses that are very similar to each other. They have an 82mm thread, and so I'll use that when I put a filter on it. Honestly, these are just my go-to. They do a great job, and I know I can use them on every project, everywhere that I go. Even if I'm using a different lens, I would probably have these as a backup. Now, my ultimate favorite doc lens is the Fujinon 19 to 90. I think it's the perfect distance when it comes to wide shots. 19, that's a great distance. And then 90 is a great distance when you want to get telephoto. If there's any knock to this, and I understand it, but 28 is not wide enough for me. 24 is not wide enough for me, but it's a little bit better, obviously. But I will say I can feel the difference, especially when I need to jump into a car and I'm in a situation where I don't know where I'm gonna go, where that 28 is not enough for me. I'm not using that as much as I'm using between 35 to 70, so I'm okay with it. But being able to have that flexibility would be a little bit nicer. The best documentary lens isn't about the brand, the hype, or fancy specs. It's about the lenses that keep up when the world doesn't slow down. If you're serious about running gun filmmaking, do me a favor and subscribe to the page. Moving forward, I'm gonna be dropping a new episode about filmmaking every single week. So do me a favor in the comments, tell me what is your go-to doc lens. I'm Eric D. Seals. Keep filming stories that matter.
Hi, I'm Eric Seals. I'm the tape man. Cameraman!